Chief, I think it's time for the group meeting.
Shut up, everyone! Shut up, everyone! It's time for the group meeting. It's 2 p.m. Now we're gonna get to the group meeting. Sit there. Washington, please sit over there. And Mac, stay at your place.
Ooh, Harding, she got such big...
Murphy, watch your mouth.
Sorry.
Okay, so today group meeting will be about each patient. So, let's start with McMurphy. You a person who did so much crimes. You raped a kid. You raped.
Why don't you let me explain myself? Like, there's a reason for everything. I don't know why you're talking like this.
Okay, so explain me the reason why you raped those people.
Let me talk. Hi, I'm Randall Patrick McMurphy. So I'm going to explain the reason why I did all of my crimes. So once, when I was 18 years old, I raped the sister of the sister of the sister of the sister of the brother of my old neighbor. She didn't scream that time, so I thought it was okay to rape people. So I continued, and I raped the cousin of the cousin of the cousin of the cousin of my cousin's friend. But this time, she screamed and she called the police, so I killed her. So I thought to myself that I had to find a new hobby. I started to steal clothes to give them to poor people. It was boring, so I watched the series called Prison Break, and then I wanted to go to a prison and to break out from it. I actually went to the prison, but they thought I was crazy because I always tried to escape, and they put me in a work camp, but after the work camp I was so tired, so I acted really crazy, so they sent me to this institution. So that was my story.
Well, that was a pretty interesting story.
I know, right? Why my loony buddies don't one of the aides tell us one of the stories?
Oh, McMurphy, stop with your rackets.
You may be all insinuate and stuff, but I insinuate that Washington should tell us one of his stories, huh, Miss Ratchet?
I think that's a pretty clever and So, Washington, do you want to tell us your story?
People always ask me why I'm so brassy towards the right race. Well, I answer to them, if you were black, you would know.
But why would they do that?
Like I said, if you were black, you would know.
Oh, boys, it takes two to tango to do a brawl. Please, can you stop your ruckus? Washington, please continue.
I've always been an easygoing and brilliant kid. But it stopped when these white... They sucked the joy right out of me. And they acted fiendish. I remember being a kid and waking up to those religious music my mom always listened to. She was working as a maid for a certain Mr. Robinson. The little money she was making helped the both of us survive in our small house. Every time we would go to shop groceries, all the whites were scolding at us. But they never spoke to us until one day of May. One day I was going to school and a man came by to beat my mom. We ran as fast as we could, but the man grabbed my mom's leg and started beating her to death. Her last sentence to me was, "Run, baby, run, and don't forget that I love you." My body was frozen in place and in time as my mom was dead in front of me. But what could a 9-year-old boy do in this case? There was nothing. That day, I always hated the white boys. And I promised to myself to get as much power as I could, so that I could make them suffer like my mom did.
That was really a sad story, Washington.
No, it was a normal story.
Mike. So I think it's a really cat idea that everyone is telling about his past and this group meeting. Harding, do you want to tell us why you always say you're different?
Yes,
And why do you get a degree in university if you're here in this hospital?
I will tell you my story.
Okay, so when I was small, my mother used to help me with my homework, and then she would ask me how my day went. And so I would explain to her using girly expressions with my hands, and when she would get mad because I would use them a lot, she would hit me. Okay, so when I was small, I used to say my corner and don't mind anybody. And then I grew up a little bit and started reading. And then I saw that I was growing a beard, and so I felt like a real man, but in reality, I was actually a woman because I used to walk like them. Growing up, I realized that I really liked men, but they always rejected me, and so I went and I hid behind Vera Harding, a sexy woman. And so this is how I ended up with Vera Harding. But even being with her, even when I hid behind her, I still realized that everyone still judged me, even when I was very convincing. But because that's the way I am, I talk with my hands. I'm very girly, and everyone saw that, and so they rejected me and they judged me until I couldn't take it anymore, and so I hid in the psychiatric hospital.
So you're white gay with your gay hand moves.
Washington, watch your mouth.
Hey, Ratchet, why don't you tell us your story and stop being a Jezebel?
Why would I tell my story to you, lunatics?
Because you're a human being just like us, and it's not because you're the big nerds that you don't have a story.
Okay, I will tell you why I hate you men so much.
Was it because you were a courtesan and that man treated you like objects?
Stop joking, Mac, or I won't tell you my story.
When I was younger, I worked as a nurse for the army. My friend would always ask me if I had a boyfriend, but I was really shy with boys. One day, I was walking with my best nurse friend when I met an handsome chocolate guy. We got into a serious and beautiful relationship together. I loved him from the bottom of my heart, and he loved me too. Until one day, when I went back to my hovel, I saw him with my best nurse friend. I was so angry that I collapsed. I decided to give up on boys and to continue my education and the university. Until one day I met the perfect guy. He was a doctor. We fell in love and we even moved together. We were so in love and he was my second and best love. But one day, one miserable day when I went back home, I said baby and I opened the door and I saw him with another man in our bed. I was so angry, angrier than the other time. I hated boys, and I decided that I want to make them suffer like they did to me because they are all the same. They do all think the same.
Oh my god, nurse, I'll make sure that I never get into a relationship with you.
Okay, guys, the meeting is closed. You can now get to your duties.
Oh my god, she actually cried.
I know, right?
Hey, Chief, I think it's time.
Fou! Fou عليكم!
Mais approche, il faut que t'approches.
So you're gay? You're white gay?